What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday evening to you. Welcome back to the Sooner Surge live show. Got Jeremy here. Sorry we had to start late, but we're ready to roll now. And yes, Bobby, let's just get it going with this comment right here because I think it was some kind of I was kind of surprised by the news to hear it tonight, but I think it's great. Uh, Jeremiah Cradell back on staff as an assistant cornerback coach under Jay Valai. I think it's a great addition. You look at Jay Valai, he's been sought after and highly sought after by other universities. I think eventually, obviously, he's going to get promoted or move on, I would think. He's a really good coach. And Jeremiah Cradell, I think this is a great spot for him right now. Jen agrees. With Bobby. And hey, it poses a question when you look at the staff guys right now. You look at guys like DeMarco Murray, Joe John Finley, Seth Luttrell, and I think an interesting question I'd like to hear your answers is, and then we're going to get to some Mike Gundy stuff because I have to talk about it. But what former player would you love to see at Oklahoma coaching? Now, whether or not they have any coaching background or not, I'm just saying you got a good variety of them right now, guys like Murray and Joe John Finley and others. Is there a former player that you think, okay, I would love to see this guy come back and coach in the future?
I mean, there's been some loud guys, Jay, that I think would make excellent coaches. I think of Roy Williams. I know. I tell you one.
Too late for him.
I agree. I tell you one who I'd love to have seen get in the coaching world was Dan Cody.
Yeah, he'd fire you up. McCoy's an obvious one. I think people have talked about McCoy for a while now. John, thank you so much. It means a lot. Appreciate it. It's people like you that really help the channel, so thank you. A guy I thought of in the future, eventually after football, Creed Humphrey.
Yeah, Creed Humphrey. Jay, who was the center that got into coaching as an OC? Was it Ty Darlington?
Well, Darlington, but you also have John Cooper that's a coach as well. I mean, it seems like a lot of offensive linemen make good coaches. Look at Jeff Levy. I mean, people can love or hate him, but he's pretty good offensive mind. You see it more often. Creed would be outstanding. Drake Stoops. Another receiver I think that would be great would be Sterling Shepard. I think Sterling Shepard would be outstanding coach. I mean, we could keep this going.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
We've got to talk about Mike Gundy.
And that's what I wanted to get to next. And if you're in the Discord, I asked the question in there. And if you're not in the Discord, please join up. There's an unlimited membership. You can sign up for it. Just go to the description in the video. We can talk whenever you want on there. But here's the deal. I posed the question. I'd love to get some thoughts on it. I thought it was an absolute embarrassment. Okay, here's the reason why. I do not think if you don't want to suspend him, that's whatever. That's on you as a coach, and that's fine. I don't know if Oklahoma players will be suspended for it. I get that. If you don't want to suspend him and say you handled it yourself internally, fine. But the comments he made about body weight and how many beers it took to get over there was an absolute ridiculous. He came out later and said that's not what he meant, but he said it. It was ridiculous. Also, when he talked about how it's not that big of a deal for these guys because they make money now and they can pay that, unbelievable.
Jay,
unbelievable.
When Deion Burks and Makari Vicker things happen, everyone can attest to what I said. I think there's got to be some kind of precedent set for these guys getting DUIs. And that means I said I think there should be a suspension. So first off, I don't want anyone to come at me and say, well, if this was a Sooner player and Venables said that, I'd be ripping him too. Because the fact that Mike Gundy had to come on after, put a tweet out after kind of explaining it, obviously he screwed up. It was ridiculous. He said he's not condoning it, but that's exactly what came across.
Well, that's what it was. It was just very odd. I thought all of it was very odd, and everything I listened to about it, it was just weird. Hey. And hey, Jeremy, Ollie Gordon, the fact that he was at media day, that's fine. If you want to bring the media day, and he said we're going to make him answer the questions, that's fine. But to also then say the best punishment for him would be handing the ball 50 times a game. I mean,
Jay,
it's almost, here's what it came across to me. It's almost like he was joking about it.
Absolutely. And here's the one quote that really rubbed me the wrong way. And maybe it's because I've been a teacher for 20 years and I'm an educator, but he said, and I'm paraphrasing, so don't quote me on this, but he said something to the effect of, I've got Oklahoma State University's interest. Basically, this is about what's best for Oklahoma State University. And what's best for Oklahoma State University is Ollie Gordon. Basically, what he said is, how are we going to win more games? What he should have said as a coach of men is, I've got to do what's best for Ollie Gordon. And honestly, Jay, probably what's best, not probably, is there's got to be consequences.
Well, he went on to say that what is suspending him one game going to do? I didn't give him the ball last year till a third or fourth game. The whole thing was just very like, push it, no big deal, make jokes about it. That's probably not what he meant, but that's exactly the way it came across.
I didn't see Josh Pate's list of
I saw him.
Here's one thing that's interesting. Hunter had sent me an article about, I believe it was On3, put something out about the blue bloods. You know, Oregon's not a blue blood yet, but they're close to being one. There were some things like that. I read that article. I did not see this article.
Eric, I saw the list. I thought some of them were good. I didn't think Notre Dame was great. And I also thought A&M was too high. Texas A&M, they're going to have to prove it to me first. I thought that was a little bit high.
I agree until they do something one year. I think they could be on the up and up, but we'll see what Elko does, Jay.
Yeah, we'll see. Nobody knows.
Hey, viewers, am I loud? Am I too loud?
You're always too loud, but you're normal. You're normal, Jeremy. You're normal, okay? Hey, I don't want to spend a whole lot more time on the Mike Gundy thing, but I just do want to say that I really don't even know how to go about this. Just the whole thing and the fact that Ollie Gordon was at media day is fine. I heard some people, I saw some people talking about that, saying that was ridiculous that he was there. I don't have a problem with that. I do not have a problem if the team says we're not suspending him. I mean, personally, I think a suspension, like you said, I think that would be the best option. But if you don't want to suspend him, handle it your way, that's fine. But publicly, the way he did it today was not good. And it just didn't come across good. That's no
typical,
way
Jay.
to get it.
It's typical for Mike Gundy. I think BV is going to say, if I were to guess what BV would say, he's going to say something about handling it internally. That's all Mike Gundy needed to say. Hey, Ron, the difference is it was a DUI, I think. And that's, of course, if you do a sobriety test, half the fans, that's not what we're talking about here.
Hey, here's the thing about this today, too. It is going to bring up, it's going to, OU SEC Media Days is next week. This whole thing is definitely going to be brought up. And I know you don't have any of the players going that had the issue, but I think it will be asked to Venables, and I hope that Brett Venables answers it and then moves on. And I know Mike Gundy said that today. We're not going to talk about it after 4 o'clock today. But now I think people will talk about it because the way he answered it. If he would have just said, hey, we're not going to talk about it. We handled it internally. We'll go about it. If we suspend him or not later on in the year, we'll decide. Leave it at that. It was over.
FSU, I agree, is rolling. The guys they had on defense. Look, I was one of the few that said Florida State should have been in the playoff regardless of what happened to Jordan Travis. And I was in the minority. Okay. Their defense was elite. If they'd had Jordan Travis, they would have been right there. I wish they had a chance at the playoff. I think if they would have went to the playoff without Jordan Travis, they would have done some damage, Jay, because their defense was unreal.
Their defense was good, and they just needed Jordan Travis.
I like their coach Mike Norvell a lot.
Yeah, I think he's a good coach. I think he really is a good coach.
Hey, no, time out though. Greg got I think half their team left.
Yeah, they had some injuries, and
like
a lot of them off
18 of 22 players didn't even play in that game, Jay.
Hey, Colin, going back to yours, the one thing I would ask BB would be this. How, as a head coach, is your role changing this year with Zach Alley? That compared to Ted Roof, is it changing at all, and in what way? I'd like to hear how he answers that.
Yeah, and hey, Chief, according to, I'm going to disagree on this, Chief, because Notre Dame has a ridiculously easy schedule. They're getting the 9 wins. Out of those 3, though, if there's a team that I might say might not get 9, would it be Texas, Jay, out of those 3?
I think Texas for sure getting 9 wins. I would be shocked if they.
So you would lean to Bama of the 3.
You got 4 teams listed there.
Oh, I didn't see Florida State. Yeah.
Bama maybe would be the one in my opinion. But I mean, we'll see. I think Texas has a better chance to get to 10 wins than Alabama for sure. I don't know. Here's the thing about Florida State that I don't know about. And by the way, DJ, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Ugalele, you know who I'm talking about, quarterback for Florida State.
Yes.
But he came out today on Twitter. I thought that was a great statement he put out about he would love to go to media days. Thanks for selecting him, but he thinks it's better for the undefeated, the guys who were on the team last year to go. But I'm not sold on him as a quarterback yet. So I can't. Florida State, and I said the same thing about Jackson Dart. I said the same thing about Brady Cook. I said the same thing about Jackson Arnold. I said the same thing. You can go down the list. The Tennessee quarterback. And I'm going to keep it level across the board until a quarterback proves it to me on the field. I cannot just say these teams are going to be outstanding because here's the thing. It's a quarterback league mostly. I think you got to have a really good quarterback to have a really good team in most cases. Most cases.
How many
unproven guys there? A lot of unproven guys there in that list.
John McNay, I say 4 make it, a possibility of 5. That's my thoughts. And hey, if Bama's a top 5 program, then who's not? Because that would mean, Georgia and Ohio State are top 5 this year. Oregon, a lot of people think there's 3. If you're putting Bama in the top 5, that doesn't leave room for a couple of others.
I think he's saying in general they're going to be a top 5 program. I don't know.
Oh, recruiting wise and stuff. Yeah, I don't know if they'll be ranked top 5.
Yeah, I think he's saying just everything. We'll see. We'll see how Kalen DeBoer and coaching wise. The question about how many SEC teams, I think the max you get probably this year would be 4.
It's a travesty if they only get 3.
Maybe 5. I guess. But
would you agree, viewers? It's a travesty if the SEC only gets 3 teams.
I think it just depends, but I think you're going to get 3.
Depends on what, Jay?
I think you're going to get 3 for sure, Jeremy. I don't need to talk about it. They're going to get 3. There's
no. It's a travesty.
Jeremy, they're going to get 3. They're going to get 3.
Open your ears. It's a travesty if they only get 3.
They're going to. Okay, we don't have to worry about that.
So you're saying they're getting 4 no matter what?
I don't know, Jeremy. Today is July. What is today? July 9th?
Well, there's 2 ways to look at it, Jay.
Man. Long ways away.
There's 2 ways to look at it, Jay. If this conference is as tough as everyone says it's going to be, which I think it is, and you beat people up and teams are beating up on each other, there's some other teams that are going to say they deserve a chance with better records.
Brett Yormark said the Big 12 is the deepest league in the country.
Who?
Who cares?
Cares about Brett Yormark. I didn't care about Brett Yormark when OU was in the Big 12, Jay.
I don't either. Yeah, still recruiting good, Eric. I agree. John says, do you think they'll put a cap on it? Maybe if not officially. I don't think they'll put a cap on how many teams can get from one conference. I don't expect that at all.
Hey, and I will say this about the Bama thing, where Bama, Nick Saban is still around. He's like Bob Stoops. He's around the program. And that's why I think the hire of Kalen DeBoer was huge, because he's the type of guy that would embrace Nick Saban being there. That's why I think that was a great hire. Oh, not to mention, he's one of the best on-field coaches in the country.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Sooner fan, I'm leaning your way on this, okay? And when I say overrated, here's the thing, though. They could be overrated and still only have 3 losses. Their schedule is very doable, but I do think they are very They could be. We'll see. They're recruiting well, so I can't just say it yet, but they could be a team that I think maybe had a one-year hit wonder, kind of like a band. But we'll see. They're recruiting well enough to say, no, that's not going to happen. But it's hard for me, after watching Missouri so many years, to think they're just going to go out there and dominate teams. I don't know.
Hey, Duluth,
program. I don't think they're great.
Duluth 269. Not only in the Walmart parking lot, I got my 9-year-old son in the car tonight with me. 9-year-old over here sitting with me. Yeah. Oh yeah, he went to Bible study with me tonight. Chief T-Bird, thanks for the super here. We appreciate you so much, Chief. Easiest money you'll ever make is betting the under on wins by Bama. Wow, that's a hot take for a Tuesday, Chief.
What is the over-under on it? Do you know?
Over-under? I don't know what the total is.
Total for wins. What is it? Hey, Bobby, listen. He says Drink's a good coach. Maybe. He might be a good coach. I am not ready to say he is yet until I see it back-to-back years. I've said the same thing about Ole Miss that I say about Missouri. I need to see it a couple of years in a row, and I need to see them beat some really good teams for me to say they're a great team. They're a good team. So's Ole Miss. They're a good team. Are they a great team? I can't say that yet. Is Drink a great coach? No. Is he a good coach? I think he's a pretty good coach, but I need to see it in back-to-back seasons.
Hey, Eric, are you saying Bob Stoops, the NBA equivalent to Bob Stoops is LeBron James? I'm curious in what way. I mean, you consider – here's what's ironic, Eric. You know I'm about to say this because we've gone back and forth. You claim LeBron James is the GOAT of all time, but yet you've also said Bob Stoops ain't good. So I'm confused on your comparison there.
Hey, what's the speaking of one-hit wonders, best one-hit wonder song?
I don't know, but I got the best movie. What was that movie, Jay?
That Thing You Do?
Oh, I love That Thing You Do.
Well, Tom Hanks doesn't put out.
I love the movie That Thing You Do.
Tom Hanks does not put out a bad movie. Has he put out a bad movie?
I don't know, but I'm calling Zayden Richards out right now. Zayden Richards says might rear in this car with its light on, just sitting in the Walmart parking lot. First off, Zayden, there's no one behind me. Second of all, I know you're a Bears fan. I like your logo there. Caleb Williams hasn't even signed yet, Jay.
I could care less about Caleb Williams and the Bears. But
Jason, he's not gonna. He's holding out, dude.
Is that what they said for sure?
He has not signed yet. He's waiting on. He's trying to have the NFL do something with the collective bargaining agreement that they're not going to.
Hey, Sooner fan, you may be right on that one. That was a terrible movie. Hey, but didn't he a few years ago want like ownership in a team? I thought that was kind of his thing he was going after, but maybe not. Bob Stoops equals Danny Ainge, Ron says. Splash. That's another one I would say. But you can
Splash was great.
Chief. A lot of people love that movie, Chief.
You want me to tell you one of my favorite all-time Tom Hanks movies?
Go for it.
Sully.
Sully's a good one. Sully
is great.
Sully's a good one. But, I mean, that is the one I didn't like that everybody liked was the Castaway. Couldn't stand that movie.
I didn't like it either, Jay, and I didn't like The Terminal. Hey, listen, Jen, this brings up a great point, Jay, that we can go on here maybe for the next 10 minutes. He's waiting on getting part ownership. I think he's talking about Bob Stoops, but
no,
Bob Stoops.
Talking about Caleb Williams.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, Bob Stoops, though, Jay, came out and said that it should be a good reception that Josh Heupel gets.
I did see that, and for him to come back and play Oklahoma, I did see that. I think OU fans will give him a really good reception. Oh, don't get Jeremy's. Oh, no. The live is officially over.
Listen.
Jeremy's been asked a romantic comedy Hallmark, even though it's not a Hallmark movie. Here we go. Jeremy,
you've got –
first off,
many people don't know that that's pretty much a sequel to Sleepless in Seattle. And I love both of those movies, okay?
They're not the best romantic comedy ever, though.
Proposal's up there.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is pretty good.
What's funny is you talk about me and you're the one spitting out all the names.
Hey, I didn't spit out one name. Jeremy's probably already, are they doing a Christmas in July on Hallmark?
Absolutely are. When you have the Hallmark movie channel, it's Christmas year round. Williams is not coming back to OU. No, I was talking about Bob Stoops.
Jeremy, quick question before we move on.
Yeah.
On your TV, do you have cable or do you stream?
Direct TV, Jay.
Okay. Is Hallmark your most watched channel?
Doubt it.
Oh.
Doubt it. My wife loves the ID channel. Okay. ID channel. Jay, yeah, Wedding Crashers. I love Wedding Crashers. Hey guys, I saw Inside Out 2 this weekend. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. I was tearing up so bad at the end of that thing.
Really? I cried on a plane this weekend 2 or 3 times watching a movie.
I love the Christmas card.
Hey, if anybody has not seen The Boys in the Boat, God, it's a great movie.
Hey, speaking of movie, I don't have a movie trivia. Friday night, everything will be revealed here on the Sooner Surge as far as the rules to tickets to the OU Houston game, second game of the season, and these seats are great. I mean, they're down low, they're behind in the end zone, they are elite seats, but you're going to have a better chance of winning those tickets in different ways. Obviously, getting a trivia will help you, but your name will be put in on the random wheel generator. We'll spin that wheel at the end of the month, next month, and we'll reveal who the winner is, but it'll be fun. I've got very creative in how we're going to do this, and we can't wait to reveal this on Friday night. Make sure you're watching. There you go, Jay.
Excited about it. And also,
check out the FanStop, fanstop.com. I got a compliment today on this shirt 4 or 5 times today about where I got this shirt, the Sooner Nation shirt. So
Eric says Bobby has trivia on lock. We'll see. He's been red hot before we stopped it. He was red hot.
The question is, Jay, but listen, Bobby, I got to ask you, Bobby, this will be pressure now because we're talking about OU game tickets. We're ramping it up a little. Can Bobby perform under pressure?
Are you saying that Bobby maybe a Karl Malone, not a Michael Jordan, maybe?
We'll see, Jay.
We'll see, Bobby.
Or maybe for Eric, I would say Bobby would be a LeBron James and not a Michael Jordan if he chokes under pressure.
Why do you always have to bring up LeBron? That's great, Gray guy.
Hey, Jay, are you thinking that Josh Heupel is going to get a standing O?
I think he's going to get a really, really good ovation.
I do too.
I just think OU fans, for the most part, are pretty good fans. I mean,
would you compare Josh Heupel? Would you compare Josh Heupel to a young Jeff Lebby when he was the coordinator at OU? He just didn't have enough time under his belt.
When he was at Oklahoma, yeah, I do think he was learning.
I think he was a good coordinator, but he got ran out of town pretty much, Jay.
Yeah, but look who they got after that was Lincoln Riley. So I think it was a great move by Bob Stoops. I mean, whether they ran him out or whatever. I do also think Josh Heupel also wanted out of there. I think Josh Heupel wanted to go prove something himself instead of being under the wing there and go do it himself. And he did. Look what he did. He went to UCF. He went to Tennessee. He's
run everywhere.
He had good offenses. But who has not had a good offense at Oklahoma, though, Jeremy?
Agreed. That's why I think if the defense performs, they're going to be there. Hey, Bobby says the number right now being thrown around is 1.3 for Fasuzi. Am I okay paying that? Here's what I'm going to say. I know we heard from the past, the guy who talked about the NIL that they kind of go off this rate card. Look, I would be willing to bet that David Stone, maybe some of those other guys are getting close to that. He's a 5-star lineman. I think I would be perfectly fine paying that. Chuck Long was one of the worst.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Do you think I do think, yeah, you can say the rate card, but I do think depending on what you need as a team, I think that position probably gets more paid than others because you need it. It's a need. It's just like anything. You need it, you're going to pay more for it. If you need
supply and demand, Jace, it's kind of how
a really good wide receiver, you're going to pay more than you would normally because you really need it. That's kind of like how it works.
Hey, one thing I was going to say though, on that list on 3 put out about blue bloods, there was a team on there they have as a blue blood that I was just flabbergasted.
Well, Andy Staples did that. He put 9 teams on there. You didn't agree with one of them. Who was it?
Take a guess.
Penn State?
Absolutely. Penn State is not a blue blood, Jay.
He was the last one he had on the list. They were the last team he had on the list.
But they're not.
You think there's 8 blue bloods?
The other ones he had on there, I didn't really have a problem with. Hey, and here's the deal: if Penn State is, then you got to start talking about some other teams that probably should have been on there. Like was Florida State on there?
Florida State, no. Hey,
and Bobby, this has to be talked about. You're talking. I mean, a tackle protects the quarterback. That has to be premium pay.
Well, it's not just Jackson Arnold. It's the next few quarterbacks they have. I mean, Oregon in consideration is hilarious. I agree.
Hey, Chester, one of the most embarrassing moments of my entire Sooner fandom history, Jade. You know what it is? I bet Jay knows.
What's that?
One of the most embarrassing moments of being an OU fan happened in John Blake's era.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
What was it?
When you have to have circles on the sideline so your special teams guys can go stand on there and they can count how many there are. That was an absolute they were the laughing. Here's the deal. You can say that OU was and people have talked about on here, Alabama cannot get to that stat. They're not going to drop off. I'm just saying OU did. They went Spritzer, then they had Gibbs, you had Howard Schnellenberger, laughing stock.
Bad hires, Jay.
At laughing stock.
Jason, Kalen DeBoer has won everywhere. And listen,
John Blake was a really good recruiter, Jeremy. Really good.
Jay, I loved John Blake as far as I love listening to him. He was a great recruiter, great defensive coach, I think, but it wasn't the head coach. And listen, people are going to, Jay, OU is not anywhere near what they were then. But if BV throws out a 7-5 and 8-4 a couple years in a row, people are going to say he's the Gary Gibbs. You brought up Gary Gibbs' name. That's what BV would be. He'd be the Gary Gibbs.
Except a little different because he beat Texas, but lost.
A little bit different.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be that because I think they're going to win.
And I agree with John. Win something, Oregon, and Eric. I agree. They're on the path. They've been good, but they haven't won anything national championships or anything. So,
how can
you be a blue blood if you never won a national championship?
I don't know, but everyone better record and screenshot the next 40 seconds.
Why?
One of my sons and I were watching some highlights last year. Okay, of OU games. You better record this right now. Get this when you can.
Wait, it's already recording, Jeremy, so no worries.
Jay, Jalil Farouk. I watched some Texas game. I watched the Arizona game. Jalil Farouk made some great plays. It's just those fumbles. But I'm here to say maybe Jalil Farouk is a guy who he can play. I still don't think he should be starting, but there is a spot for him on the team. And again, I give him kudos for being loyal, but again, he should not take a starting role, but you heard it from me first just right now, Jay. Take it while you can.
Heard it from you first. I said I think he's having his best year yet. I don't know what.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm going to give him a little bit of a leeway, Jay.
You know what I think about you? I think you are kind of like maybe some coaches that are in a game and they get emotional. I think a lot of times your emotions, you say stuff that then you think about it and you're like, maybe.
No, that's not it at all, Jay. I watched
emotions kind of get into it a little bit.
I liked what he could do some after the catch. That's all I'll say.
His yak was really good.
His yak was good, but the ball control cannot be quick. They cannot be slow to yank him. Yep. It's
Was
always
that, hey,
forget-
was that
it's
what it was
always
about tonight?
it's always about that, Jay. That's kind of the point of the gospel, okay?
Is that why it came to you and you thought?
No, that is not why. My son and I were watching the game earlier today. That OU Texas game, Jay.
Eric wants to know if you watch what he sent you in the Discord. Is that what changed your mind?
No, I didn't watch any of the highlights you sent me, Eric. But Jay, I will say this: I'm not being forgiving of Dylan Gabriel. Listen, the Texas drive, the drive. There was one throw to Farouk. He was throwing that ball to Drake Stoops. He overthrew Drake Stoops, and Farouk was standing there.
For some reason, we're back on Dylan Gabriel. I don't want to get on it, but hey.
Second of all, the touchdown, he was just chunking it. The more I watched that.
Hey, Bobby says Oregon is right there on the cusp. I agree with this. And
on the cusp.
Bobby, I agree with you 100% on this. They are right there. Can Dan Lanning get them to the next level? Here's the thing. They should, because right now, as far as the West Coast teams in the Big Ten, I think they're going to run that league with Ohio State and Michigan. It's those three and nobody else, in my opinion.
And
those
I agree
are the
with
three
you.
in the Big Ten.
They're not an all-time blue blood. Recently, they're great. And I'm gonna go to a movie, Jay. One of my favorite Sylvester Stallone movies. They are on the cusp, but they are not. Finish it, Jay.
Over the top.
Over the top. They're on the cusp, but they're not over the top. We're twins. We can read each other's minds. It's pretty clear. We do this all the time. Okay. We're mind readers. It's great.
Hey, I saw a guy on Twitter today. I think he's with Notre Dame recruiting or something. Kind of stole your thunder. Put the tweet meme out with Rutrow, Scooby-Doo, because they lost another commit.
They probably watched Sooner Surge. Hey, Delu269. I've been saying all along. I know Chief T-Bird's on here because he's faithful to watch us. He'll agree with me. It's Brennan Thompson.
I don't think it'll be Brennan Thompson.
I know you don't.
Kenneth says they was throwing him open, Jeremy.
Well, he was standing wide open at the back of the end zone. He didn't throw him open.
I can't understand you when you yell like that.
He was standing wide open in the back of the end zone.
Man, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Mike Bellotti, he was a good coach.
He kind of went off the deep end, didn't he?
Wasn't he the coach when OU, the onside kick? I believe he was.
Yeah, hey, everybody, thanks for being on here tonight. We really appreciate you all. Again, Friday, we're going to release these rules. You got to check out FanStop at fanstop.com. Check out their Shirt of the Month Club and sign up using code SURGE. You get 10% off your first 3 months. Also, I was going to say that Chief agrees with me, Brennan Thompson. And thanks to Chief for the super tonight. We appreciate it so much. Cooper Flag was cooking Team USA, yeah. And we will be on here again tomorrow night, as always, Jay. Anything else to close it up?
No, yeah. As John said, hit the like. That really does help a lot when you hit the like. Share it, hit the like, because I cannot wait. Here's the thing. I was talking to a guy that referees Division II today. He's been doing 7-on-7s, and he was saying football, it just feels like it's right around the corner. It is. You get media days ramping up, and then you're going to be right into the season. So it'll be here before you know it. So excited not to be at Big 12 Media Days today. Excited to be at SEC next week.
Yep. We'll see you all tomorrow night. Boomer.